Hey, Justin, you got a bit idea this week or something? I'm kind of gassed on ideas.
I was kind of workshopping something when I was at work the other night. So, there's been a way more dragon sightings in this arc than I think any one of us could have ever anticipated. Like, we got two, there might have been more for all we
Mhm.
know. Actually, no, three, because at the end of the episode, allegedly someone turns to a dragon. So I was gonna like try and workshop a bit. Because in like Asian mythology, like about Magikarp and Pokemon, right? Like
Yeah,
Magikarp turns to Gyarados, and
hmm
Gyarados is supposed to be a dragon type
of course.
because Asian lore, koi fish swims up a waterfall, becomes a dragon, right? Right,
Sure,
right.
sure, sure.
Thinking about workshopping like that. But then I watched this week's episodes, and I decided to say, "Fuck that! I'm on a pedestal tonight." One Piece, what the fuck was that shit? What the fuck were these goddamn awful fucking cuts? Holy shit! Whoever worked on the fucking editing team this week for One Piece, these episodes we watched, has a fucking agenda, and the agenda is, I'm tired of this arc. I want to get to the next one because they just made so many bad fucking cuts. Like, okay, like the emotional impact of Tashigi's men sacrificing themselves so she could be saved, and then just get off by the gas in the room A or whatever. They cut that scene out entirely, but then they still like keep the scenes of like the aftermath of that sacrifice and the emotional weight behind all of that. That doesn't make sense if you just cut out that fucking scene. And then we go to fucking Chopper. He makes out the lab. Monet gives him a side eye, thinking that like she saw him. Maybe she's a fucking quintuple agent. I don't fucking know anymore. But then the next time we see that fucker is he just randomly meets up with Mocha and he's in fucking like armor point or whatever his fighting point is, right? He's in that poke mode, right? He just meets up with Mocha out of nowhere. And the next time we see him after that, he's like meeting up with a gang and fucking Monster Point looking half dead and holding back a mob of fucking angry fucking kids. None of this shit makes sense. They just keep cutting shit and then nothing makes sense. And sure, we could probably just, piece shit together if we're smart enough. But god damn it, was it so fucking bad to watch these episodes? I would rather watch all 5 as intendedly air through all the fucking bullshit and fluff and recapping and OPs and EDs. I am so fucking angry.
That's a lot to unpack there, buddy. I'm sorry you feel this way. I mean, I share some of your sentiment, but like, we got a recording to do. Like, no need to get so angry right at the beginning.
Yeah, but I guess it's better if I get it off now. Don't want that energy just kind of like, bubble throughout the entire cast,
Yeah, that probably won't stop you from bitching about it later, though.
What? I'm not Devin. I would never.
Anyway, while you stew, I'm gonna read this summary thing. How about that? Why don't you take
Okay.
a breathe? Take a 5.
You got it.
We start off our episodes this week with a surprise encounter with Eustace Kid, who's looking a little sexier this week thanks to that scar, and Killer. They see that their fellow supernovas are on Punk Hazard and quickly lose interest in the black market deal going down. They suspect their rivals are making a move and they can't afford to fall behind. Right after that, we learn that Killer has invited Scratchman, Apu, and Basil Hawkins to their base in hopes that the 3 captains can work out an alliance of their own. We've already got 2 dead goons in the corner already. Let's see how many more we lose as negotiations go through. Back on Punk Hazard, though, we have our merry band of captives being suspended over the lab to be sacrificed to the incoming Shinokuni gas. After asking Frankie for a distraction, Law reveals he had a contingency plan in case he were ever captured, so he swapped his sea prism chains with normal ones. He goes on to free everyone, including Smoker and Tashigi, as long as they agree to his terms while they're on Punk Hazard. Everyone in the story starts making their way over to the main lab as our plot device Shinokuni dictates so. Law opens the front door for everyone to make it in safely, but Zoro and company are falling behind as the door begins to close again. So he and Kinemon cut the door open for themselves. Thankfully, though, the G5 Marines managed to patch up the hole before any gas could follow them in. Law announces that there is an escape route clear of the gas over at door R66. For whatever reason, though, Law explicitly states that there's a 2-hour time limit to get off the island before everyone's life no longer becomes a guarantee. There's a bunch of other things that happen, so I'm going to go over them quickly. Basically, everyone goes on an individual side quest where Luffy goes after Caesar, Smoker goes after Virgo, Law goes after his heart, and something called SAD. Pretty emo of him, honestly. Robin does a fetch quest for Luffy, Frankie is getting the Sunny, and everyone else is trying to save the kids while not killing each other. Oh, and Caesar has caught wind of just about all of these plans and plans on leaking the gas into the building for his little convenient experiment. He also makes a call over to Doflamingo to fill him in on the situation. He, in turn, sends backup from Dressrosa. Got all that? All right, good. See you next week.
All right. Nice. We did it. Woo.
That was a long one.
So, yeah, it was a long one. There was a surprisingly amount of stuff that was kind of squished into these episodes. Lots of important, tangents, if you will.
Maybe that's why they cut out all that extra bullshit you're complaining about.
Yeah. And yeah, no, because like each of these episodes on One Piece was like 22 minutes at most. You could spare an extra 60 seconds for clarity, people. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, we're speed running.
God damn it. Where's Brendan when I need him to be outraged with me?
Chopper found the
I
kid.
need all the context.
That's all I need. Chopper coming out all battered, however, is a little different. What the fuck did that?
That's a great fucking question. And you know what? We're probably never going to get an answer for it.
I mean, are you not going to tell me?
I genuinely don't know. I don't remember.
What are you outraged about then?
As someone who doesn't remember, and in your case hasn't seen what happened, wouldn't you be outraged to be like, hey, one point I see Chopper doing this, next time I see Chopper doing that with somebody else with no explanation of how we got there to that point, and then the third time I see him, he's in fucking big boy monster mode getting his shit kicked in by a bunch of kids. What the fuck happened? Does no one have any questions about that in the in-between?
I mean, I got questions, but like you're supremely outraged about this thing, but you don't even remember what it is you're missing out on.
You would know what? It would have been great if they didn't cut all that shit. That would explain it to me.
I just feel like your outrage in particular is slightly misplaced. You're outraged for a reason you don't even remember. You're like the worst kind of person.
I'm outraged over my experience in terms of quality. Like, it was genuinely, like, I lost enjoyment as episodes went on because I'm like, I'm losing so much context. Like, some of it I can piece together and kind of remembered, but like the Chopper thing, it's like, I'm pretty sure I remember probably, like I could piece it together, but like, why do I have to do that when you could just, leave the context in there?
I mean, it looks like he just got his shit pushed in by the kids.
So here, I don't actually know it's for sure. It's probably right, but like, I'll go and put the asterisk, fish brain memory. What I think, or what I remember happening is, I don't know how the fuck Chopper runs into Mocha, honestly, but eventually he goes into the biscuit room with Mocha, and I think he's worked up a cure for their withdrawal, or he's trying. And in that moment, the kids are trying to get their candy. He tries to take it away from them. I think what he discovered after talking through Mocha is, if you could just get past the withdrawal, you're like good. Like you're just cured essentially of your addiction. And so he's like, hey kids, all like 50 of you who are fucking behemoths, let's just try to stay calm. Everybody, no one touch the candy. No one touched candy and we'll be okay. It's going to suck for like an hour, but it's going to be great. Afterward, you're going to feel so much better. The kids weren't having it. They went through withdrawal immediately. And, they're all big, angry kids. Chopper has to go Monster Point to attempt to hold them back. If now I'm thinking about it more, I think Mocha was given a bag of the candy and Chopper told her to run because the kids are chasing after her and he's trying to stop the kids from chasing her and catching their drugs back. I feel like this is correct. That's what I remember.
Right.
And personally, I feel like that's like a pretty important detail to the story and should be kept in.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I could see it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it is. It's kind of important. It's not hard to piece together, I don't think. It seems pretty straightforward, but like, I guess seeing it would make it slightly better. I don't know.
In the words of Jordy, as he says to me all the time when it comes to me trying to engage with fans online, why are you giving them homework? Stop giving them homework. Stop asking me to piece shit together. Just fucking show me the clips. You have the footage. Just leave it in there.
That is fair. I still think you're over outraged about this, though.
I'm gonna be real. I was watching these episodes at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to sleep, but could not. So there was that. So that might have been a factor. Also, right around this time, our episode that dropped today, was the one where fucking Brendan gave me a bag of soiled milk and then he went out of his way to remind me of that. And I was very upset about that. Oh, that actually reminds me of another thing I was outraged at 6 o'clock in the morning about. I was reminded of this spoiled milk thing that, wow, I don't want to think about that anymore.
Yeah, but you keep bringing it up by yourself now.
After that, I was scrolling through Instagram and I follow Hot Ones, right? And for some fucking reason, I scroll and I see fucking Aubrey Plaza just snorting milk through her nostrils. And I'm like, What the fuck? Why is the world attacking me?
You know, this is like apparently the third week in a row you've brought this up, and you just won't let this die. This spoiled milk thing. Weren't you already reprimanded for this?
I don't know. People are trying to say I was outraged for no reason, and I'm like, I don't think you understand how much I hate the concept of that and how visceral of a reaction it brought me. All right? Like, imagine I just brought up something you absolutely hate and absolutely are disgusted by and just kept pushing into the fucking front of your head.
Don't bring it here. Go to therapy or something.
Go to therapy over spilled milk? Come on, man.
Well, just don't bring it here and constantly remind the people about it.
Listen, if I have to suffer, they have to suffer too.
Dylan,
anyway,
cut that.
Dylan, don't cut that. So yeah, we watched One Piece this week.
Oh, right.
It's just me and you. The other two boys are at work. RIP to them. Capitalism, you know.
It happens.
Gets us all. So where do you want to steer the ship?
I mean, we might as well start with like the breakout. It's like the first big thing that happens, really. First important thing that didn't get cut.
Bring out the cage, right?
Yeah, because Law has been playing 3D chess while Caesar has been playing checkers. So he replaced some chains a while back, sea stone chains with regular chains, and then with the expectation that if he ever got caught, he could just swap them out using his power when he's getting tied up. So he plays the good captive until they can be out of sight, and then they can launch the said counterattack from last week. And I mean, it goes pretty well, I think. You know, it goes
I appreciate the Batman energy from Law this week.
Yeah.
Gives me the, what do you call them? I'm losing my words here. The heebie-jeebies, but in a good way.
He's aroused you, is what you're saying.
I don't know if I would use that word exactly, but sure.
He's also, I mean, calling him Batman kind of defeats the idea of Batman, though, because Law has superpowers. Batman doesn't.
Okay, I mean, yeah, but like, how many goons have superpowers, but they're dumb as bricks, all right?
I don't know. Most of them.
Exactly.
A lot of them. Maybe not most. A lot.
I don't know. I think it's refreshing to see Law, or not to see Law, but like, well, it's definitely nice to see Law. But like, you know, it's refreshing to have a character. Just shut up. It's nice. It's nice to see a character who just like is a smart guy on the team. You know, half the time I feel like the smart role is not reduced, but like reserved for, you know, the villains, or even for Chopper. He's a smart character. Like, he's the doctor, but, you know, granted, it's part of his character of like he's still kind of a child and immature and naive in many ways. There's Robin, and like Robin's a smart gal, but like, I don't know, I feel she doesn't get enough screen time to really show it off, you know?
Well, the thing is, none of these characters are plan makers. That's where this really is at. Like, they have smarts, but in ways that they don't use to make plans. So
fair enough.
The only one who ever really attempts to make plan is like Nami, because that's like half the role of a navigator. So, but because this is One Piece and shit has to go bonkers, plans never go according to plan, at least when it's a Straw Hat plan. So maybe it's refreshing to see a plan that actually goes well. Even though it wasn't super involved. It was a simple like, oh, in case I get captured, I have this way to not be captured. But yeah, I mean, I guess I get where you're coming from. I still think you're just horny for Law, but that's besides the point, I guess.
That is neither here nor there, okay? I'm here to talk about the plot.
Yeah, plot. Law's plot.
So they break out of the cage. Law does his thing. Magicians his way out of the chains, gets his sword back, frees Frankie, frees everybody else. Eventually looks over to Tashigi and Smoker, and he says, "You know too much. What do I do with you?" And Law puts on a hard exterior, but he's like genuinely a good person underneath all of that. Like you said later down in the episode, I'm not a fan of mass murder, so, you guys have time to get out of here. Here's an escape route. I don't imagine Law necessarily wants to just, fucking ice Smoker and Tashigi, unless he felt like he had to for whatever reason, right? So, he realizes his power dynamic in the moment. He's like, hey, listen, I could just leave you two shitheads here. And also, could have just chose not to swap your bodies back, but I did that. I can free you, but you got to agree to forget anything and everything you heard about me. And also, while we're on the island, follow my rules. And they concur. Tashigi talks some sense into Smoker. He's like, how could you ever, bend to the will of a pirate? And she's like, listen, man, we need to live. And more importantly, we're responsible for like 100 men down there who also need to live. All right. Put your ego aside. And I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotta humble the Smoky boy a little bit sometimes. He's got a large ego over there. So
I mean, he was like literally the gatekeeper of the new world. So it comes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah, but he's got to remember that he's in charge of a group of fucking idiots. So he's got to keep them alive. It is his responsibility to keep them alive. So and it's nice to see that Tashigi is keeping them there. Now, that being said, there is that moment also where Tashigi completely abandons the ideal when Smoker says he's going to go after Virgo, and she's like, oh, take me with you. Right after he said, you got to take care of these men because they're all boneheads who can't do anything for themselves. And she goes, no, I got to go help you with Virgo. He's too powerful. And he's like, look, shut up and lead these men. This is supposed to be something you know. You told me about this earlier. Why am I now echoing your words back to you 10 minutes later?
That's fair. However, I think that stems from it doesn't get greatly expanded upon due to certain cuts. But a thing that Tashigi gripes with is that responsibility of leadership, as well as she just wants all of her men to make it off the island alive. That also includes Smoker, like despite her being his subordinate, like no man left behind, right? And she recognizes that Virgo is very powerful. We get a small glimpse of that, and we'll get to that later. And she's like, I'm surprised Smoker's ego doesn't come out and be like, what, you think I can't handle him on my own? Because I think in reality, it's probably like Tashigi's main concern, as well as there's probably a part of her that wants revenge, for the betrayal.
Right. I mean, I get that, but then the role, like, there's just a hard role swap where suddenly Smoker is the one who has his head screwed on right, and Tashigi is the one blinded by her emotions. And in a situation that is arguably less stressful than the one previously.
Hey man, emotions are running wild. You can't predict these things,
I don't know.
I also think there's an irony there of they swapped bodies, but now they're back in their original ones and they're still kind of swapping roles. I think it's kind of there's something poetic there.
It's not bad. That's good. It's a good idea. It's good symbolism. I didn't think about it that way.
Mm.
But we finally so we're making our way downtown, and the
rolling fast in the grass, gas,
grabbing a dragon by its tail, and of course the dragon can't fly or isn't capable of flying at the moment
because my man is zooted. Apparently
he is zooted out of his fucking gourd, bro.
My man is dopey, big dopey energy.
So they catch up to the dragon and are for some reason very surprised when it can't fly, even though they did. Like I said last week, I think, why would the dragon be running if it could fly, if it already could fly? So anyway, these guys,
you're trying to get a set start. You gotta get the
you gotta on the runway. Yeah. That's how that works for dragons. So this is another problem I feel like I'm having with this set of episodes where so they make it in the Law and that group that freed themselves. They open the front door for all the G5 Marines out front and let them in. And then off in the distance, the dragon team is running in, and they're like clearly in view of the front door, and nobody even thinks to try and stop the door, leave it open a crack for a minute so we can let them in too. No, we close the door. And we have to put on display Zoro and Kinemon's ability to just cut down anything in their path. But then, of course, because now there's a giant fuck-off hole in the wall, we have to fix that in 10 seconds. Otherwise, we're going to die anyway. But because, the two brain-dead meatheads didn't think of that. It's left up to other people, which of all the things, it ends up being the G5 Marines just scrambling, finding a bunch of hammers and nails and boards to repatch it. I was just expecting something like Law just going, oh yeah, let me wave my hand and just put this back so we don't die. But instead, it's the Marine Goons do that thing where they go, oh, we got to put this back or we're all gonna die. And then there's a bunch of them go to grab the door and start lifting it, and I'm like, surely a handful of men can't lift like a several 1,000-pound door and put it up that high, put it in place, hold it there while another group of them grabs a bunch of metal panels and screws and put whatever. That can't possibly be airtight either. It's impossible for it to be airtight again, but it is. Maybe that's what I'm outraged about.
You're outraged by the idea that it's airtight in this scenario?
Yes, I am outraged that in any way, shape, or form that was made to be the same as it was before.
I will attempt to console you in the fact that if you noticed in one of the in one of the scenes, you eventually get a shot of the door after they finish, patching it up. Yeah, they welded it.
Do we
know how the fuck they did that? We don't know.
It didn't even look like it was welded, though. It looked like the outline of the cutout piece was within the welded part. There was like one scene where I noticed that. I mean, it was probably just a mistake on the animator's part, maybe, or I was just seeing things, but yes, I recognize that at some point they do weld it. When that happened, they don't show us, but
I don't actually know. My headcanon is telling me that Frankie just fucking fresh fired.
Frankie's not there.
You know, that's also true. Who else has got fired? Surely
another thing. Where the hell is it? Where the hell is Frankie? I mean, I know we said where he went, but how is he outside the range of poison gas?
I was thinking that to myself. I was like, Frankie's made a lot of modifications to his body. He literally breathes fire. I could believe it if he wasn't affected by the poison because he doesn't have actual lungs anymore. I don't know.
Nonsense. Lungs don't matter.
Crossed my mind.
all of the inanimate objects, the earth, the cage, the sun, wind, and fire, it all petrifies. It's indiscriminate petrification. This would absolutely affect Frankie.
He ran to the sunny real fast, and got into the little chamber. He has a hazmat suit in there. I promise you.
He doesn't know about the R66 chamber. He just went to the sunny. He was like, my boat. I have to go save my baby, and that was it. He was gone.
Surely he just takes us, around back and just looks. He's like, surely this island's got a port somewhere. I'm gonna go find it.
No, the real explanation here is that for some reason Shinokuni is only restricted to land, and it's not even affecting.
If it touches the water, it just kind of mixes in with it, and then it doesn't it doesn't go airborne anymore. So listen, like I said, Shinokuni's a plot device. The plot, aka Shinokuni, said, I ain't going in the water. I don't like it. This is a new single player game. Water equals death. I'm going straight.
You think this is where Battle Royales got the concepts for?
Huh?
Well, you know how Battle Royales have the whole open map, and then mysterious gas starts pouring in to make you go into a smaller
Fortnite,
and smaller
if you're outside the zone, you get
you start getting got. You think you think this is where Battle Royales got the idea from?
I would not put it past anybody. I mean, look at fucking Fortnite. You got Goku in there. You got Anakin Skywalker. You got everything in Fortnite.
Isn't One Piece coming to Fortnite soon?
I don't actually know. I hear so many things about that game that I don't know what's a meme and what's reality.
I'm pretty sure that's reality. I don't know who else is going in, but I remember somebody. I heard about it somewhere. I'm probably our Discord, to be honest. But
I mean, we got Goku, we got Eren Yeager and Mikasa. One Piece, it wouldn't be that big of a stretch.
No, it couldn't have possibly been that far behind. Anyway,
if someone told me that, I'd believe them. I'd be, in shock and awe again. But
well, now we're in the lab, and here's where I don't know, chaos really sets in for these episodes, because the G5 pirates are pirates. I mean, they're basically pirates. They look and act like pirates. They're also pieces of shit, as we see from like Tashigi's back. I don't know what to call it, flashback to her remembering Virgo. There's like a scene of two Marines standing in front of a woman, and I don't know what they did to her to wrong her, but then Virgo and Tashigi walk up and Virgo apologizes, takes responsibility for it or whatever, but they like call her a bitch, and I don't know what happened, but they're clearly dickheads, so they're basically no better than pirates. Anyway, the G5s are trying to take into custody the Straw Hats, and while the riffraffs squabble amongst themselves down there, Law, Smoker, and Luffy are up on the balcony and are like, all right, look, Smoker, don't let your guys fuck with the Straw Hat Pirates. They got important shit to do. I'm going to go do my own thing. Luffy, you go get Caesar. And they all go, okay. And then the G5 crew starts fighting the Straw Hat Pirates anyway, until Tashigi steps in, of course.
But also the G5s fucked with them anyway, and Smoker was just like, I got my own shit to do.
Yeah, Smoker said, all right, Tashigi, you handle this, and I'm gonna go fight Virgo now. He immediately abandoned it. I mean, he thought he was placing his faith in Tashigi's ability to lead the crew. And the crew was more than willing to follow Tashigi in the first place, as she once she cuts into their part of the fight, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just do whatever you say now. We'll run away. So there was another thing. Damn it. There was one thing I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what it was now. Disregard me.
On Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't remember. Somewhere in this also, to backtrack, we get this scene from the brokers, but mostly the important part is that Kid is there with Killer, who Killer's fucking beefy now. He took that 2 years to muscle the fuck up, dude.
My man was in the gym.
He
no days off.
Shredded now. He's as big as Kid is now. I mean, Kid was like kind of big before, but now Kid is massive too, and Killer is massive. That helmet he's wearing barely looks like it fits him now. Like before, it looked like a normal helmet. Now it looks like he could break out of it if he thrust his chin forward too much. It would just shatter. And anyway, so that happens. And then we had this scene of them leaving their hideout, I guess, I think is what he said, right? It was Kid's hideout. And there's my favorite of the what would they call it? The supernovas. Hawkins, my favorite, and Apu, my favorite, who are there, and they beat the shit out of like a couple of kids, goons that were just seemingly minding their own business. And Apu's like, we got to make sure that there's no snipers. Okay.
Blows open the roof and it takes out these two idiots with them.
Sure. And then they start fighting, or rather, Kid and Apu start fighting, and Hawkins is way more than done with this shit. And somehow the one named Killer is the peaceful one here. I love this dichotomy of Killer being his nickname, and he's like the nicest guy in any room. He's like he might murk 100 people, but also he'll bring your grandmother a basket of fruit if she falls down the stairs or something in the hospital. And I don't know, it's kind of fun. I like that Killer has turned into this sort of like, I don't want to call him a joke character, but he has this like
he is oddly reasonable for a guy whose like whole aesthetic and name is menacing
and associates with someone like Kid.
Yeah. So I guess my question to you would be, do you think any type of alliance is gonna iron out here, or we just blown up this base and going our separate ways?
I feel like something has to come out of this. Otherwise, what's the point? Because we already know that the supernovas aren't really like fans of each other in the first place. So we don't need a whole scene of Killer trying to get them together for an alliance, only for it to completely not happen because Apu blows up a room full of goons. So Ed Hawkins walks away because he's tired of the bullshit. So something surely has to come out of this. And they seem shocked enough for some reason when Killer's like, no, I called you here to make an alliance. And they're like, alliance? Friendship, you say? A bit more pirate friendship?
Kid does look like the type of guy who's looking for friends these days, although maybe he needs some. I don't know. He has some issues.
Yeah, well, he definitely needs more. A couple of them just got killed by Apu.
Equivalent exchange. I lost two. You're my two next friends now.
He's got to fill in the gaps now.
So, follow-up question is, what would their goal be? Like, Law and Luffy have an alliance. It's like on paper, I guess technically temporary, because the goal is to topple an emperor, and then presumably after that goal is met, it fizzles out on paper at least. Do you think there's a similar situation of sorts happening with, if there were to be an alliance with these other three? What are you thinking? If you have any thoughts there,
part of me thinks that it might just be an alliance to try and combat against their quote unquote rivals. Not necessarily that they would be taking down an emperor, but maybe just for the simple fact of like trying to help
protect each other,
but like try to make each other stronger as well too. It could be for the purposes of protection, because we've already heard about Blackbeard nuking like promising rookies and stuff like that in the New World. So they probably recognize the idea that they aren't. I mean, I guess I guess technically then it is because he's an emperor. So I guess it is technically for the purposes of besting another emperor. So that could be it. I don't think they have any lofty goals like Law seems to have. Law seems to have most of the brains of the supernovas. We haven't seen too many other examples of that. I would believe Hawkins has some degree of smarts, but I can't really think of anybody else who's more than just like a meathead who knows how to fight goodly.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that'd be my guess. That's what I can go with.
Okay, I appreciate that. Let's see how it pans out 500 episodes from now.
I know, right? Like, I can't wait to figure out how this happens. And we'll cut back to this roundtable alliance thing in like 100 episodes, and they'll be like, all right, great, negotiations went well, and there'll be like a plate of corn muffins or something in the middle of the table that nobody's touched because negotiations have been so tense.
And also, there's just no longer ceiling on any part of the building.
Oh, absolutely not. They're sitting on top of piles of dead Eustace Kid goons.
That's good though. Cutting back to Punk Hazard. So yeah, Law makes that announcement of there's a 2-hour time limit before everybody is presumably going to die. Although, so Luffy even asks, he's like, "Do you think something's going to happen?" And I don't remember Law's exact reaction, but it wasn't a yes, and it definitely wasn't a no. So there's that. And then, as we mentioned before, everyone kind of goes on their side mission, right? Virgo does eventually go on a side mission of taking care of everybody on the island. It's like, listen, I also have a lot to lose if something were to happen, whether like information got out or blah, blah, blah. So he goes out there to try and basically take out everybody else on the island by himself, since Caesar apparently is not doing it well enough for him, which is understandable. Luffy goes to find Caesar to, best him and kidnap him or whatever. Smoker's got to go find Virgo because he wants revenge for, Navy pride or whatever. And then everybody else is trying to save the kids. I guess I would start off the part with Law because I find that most interesting is, one, do you think that something's going to happen to the island? Whether like, my brain is just assuming there's a fucking like self-destruct button somewhere is going to get fucking pounded. I don't know if you have any thought on that.
I do. It does seem like it's lining up that Law is planning to just nuke the island, but my guess would be more so that it has to do with whatever this SAD thing is.
Do you have any ideas on what it is?
I mean, low-hanging fruit seems to be it's some type of bomb.
Okay.
but it's also like a whole. I mean, it's a whole production. It could be a production line of bombs, but Doflamingo later mentions a gas that Caesar has been producing for him that he presumably sells on the black market. Now, whether that is a war device or the gas that he's showing off right now, Shinokuni, or it's a drug. Maybe it's a drug that people huff like out of an inhaler or something. I don't know. But it seems that this.
Well, let's see here. So Doflamingo's tied in with the human trafficking human trafficking over on Sabaody. He's involved with Caesar. So drugs definitely aren't out of the question. Theoretically, we could just, complete the trifecta and just make him also a weapons dealer. So, potentially this gas or whatever this sad thing is could be a weapon, could be drugs, could be whatever. So, none of this is out of the question. I feel like it's very in character for Doflamingo at the moment. But I do think it's interesting that whatever it is, Caesar is the only one who knows how to make it. And in their discussion,
it. Not only make it, but it's like use it.
Interesting.
Is what it seemed
I missed
like.
that part.
It seemed like that.
Maybe it's like something maybe that's how Caesar keeps himself. What's the word?
Useful,
necessary, and safe to the operation. He's like, listen, you can't kill me because if you kill me, your whole operation goes down the fucking toilet. Which Doflamingo recognizes because he says, like, listen, if I'm law, I would probably kill you. Because if you're dead, and I also destroy the sad stuff, this whole operation goes, topsy-turvy, and I can't be having that. So whatever this thing is, it's very, very important. I spent the entire day trying to think of what sad could stand for, and I got nothing.
Don't you know what this stuff is?
Just because I may or may not know what it is, may or may not know what it's used for, does not mean I know what the acronym stands for.
Okay. Either way, your fish brain aside, it also is mentioned that whatever this stuff is, it has the capability of like shaking the foundation of the new world as well, because of whatever it is, whether it would throw off the balance of power because
it's
whoever
just that
had
much
it,
of a hot commodity that is gonna, it's stabilizing the economy. The new world economy would be a shambles.
Flood the market, make all other weapons worth pennies. No, yeah. So whatever it is, it seems to be so incredibly important that whoever owns it or its mere existence can shake the new world to its core, which is interesting. It's very interesting. I'd be interested to find out. I mean, hopefully in the next couple of episodes, what or a hint at what SAD might be exactly. But
while we're on the Doflamingo parts here, I want to know your thoughts on the introduction scene of, the phone call and over on Dressrosa, where this is where Doflamingo is residing somewhere in the New World. And presumably close enough to Punk Hazard that he could just send people over there, quote unquote, quickly. But what a scene. He picks up his phone, his little snail chat. He's talking to Caesar and apparently also Monet and Virgo on the line. Tapping in, and he knew that.
He's talking to Virgo, and Caesar and Monet are also like, it's like having a house phone, and someone's talking, and like you pick up another one in a different room, and you can hear the conversation and also talk.
Yeah, right.
It's like that, but with snail chats.
Well, we just aged ourselves a little bit there.
Oof.
Landlines. Everybody know what those are, kids? You remember those?
God, I can't be that old, right?
Anyway, so we have everybody chiming in. And then, we just pan back to Doflamingo on his little resort area looking place by a poolside. And some cool looking chick with presumably a badass fucking devil fruit power just fucking blows a hole in the wall, fucking mounts herself on Doflamingo's shoulders and shoots something point blank in his face. He's fine somehow. And then he's just, subduing her with whatever fucking magical power she has. And also, I think she got shot in the arm by like a goon on the side. I don't know. That was a very chaotic scene for me. I was like, "Who is this woman? She's beautiful, by the way. Why is she trying to kill Doflamingo?"
I thought she was the slick chick, smooth. Whatever.
No, that's definitely not Alvida. That is definitely some other new woman.
It looked like, I mean, it's not her because of the weird weapon power thing that she has.
Yeah.
But up until the point where she turned her hands into size, I was like. What is she doing here? How did she get here? And does that mean Buggy's not far behind? Because she looks exactly like Alvida. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Alvita, but they have the same like long black curly-ish hair, and I mean, most of the women have like the like random background characters seemingly have like the same facial structure.
Yeah, I will admit that. I don't know if this is more of a recency thing or whatever the case is, or maybe it's just coincidence, quote unquote. But I feel like as time goes on from now to, you know, the forever future, a lot of women in One Piece share similar faces. And what I mean is a lot of people just end up looking like Nami with like different colors.
Yeah. This started way back with fucking Vivi. Like, she's just blue
I guess
Nami.
I never noticed until recently when someone broke that glass for me. I don't know.
So
at some point I started realizing it. I was like, oh, okay, Nami 2.0.
I'm just curious. Like, this woman is an anomaly. Like, she can turn probably most parts of her body into different weapons, because like she starts out with these scythes and she goes to attack him, and then she turns her like a finger into a gun, or her whole hand. I don't remember anymore. She turns her finger into a gun, shoots Doflamingo, he's fine, and then seemingly he's using her power on her, because then she's like struggling not to shoot herself in the face, like in the background, while Doflamingo's just big chilling, having his conversation. And there's a whole round table of other assorted characters that are, I don't know, talking business. It seemed like, because one of the other guys mentioned, or no, what was it? Maybe I'm bugging. No, it was just
it was like an older looking woman, and then like an older looking man who were like, what are we gonna do about law?
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't really about business, but either way, they're all just there, and for some reason this woman isn't like someone who broke in either. She's someone who has been here, I think, because she goes on about how like, oh, I'm not gonna forgive you this time, or again, or something to that effect. So like, this is a woman who's hung around here for a while and has been part of Doflamingo's schemes, probably. Maybe she's been forced to all this time or something like that, but she's not just a random person who's broken in and is like, I'm gonna assassinate Doflamingo for all the shitty things he's done.
Yeah, she's like kind of on the payroll in some capacity.
Yeah, like she's been around the block here, probably part of his pirate crew for a while. So and Doflamingo feigns sadness over Law's actions. It was kind of funny.
He's like, he was a brother to me. It's a shame what we have to do now. You think it maybe I think this woman, we confirmed her name is Baby 5. We thinking she's maybe like a love interest for Law, or like a sister or something. She's like, you know, just angry over his plan for Law. That's where my jump to immediately.
I don't remember where in the phone conversation she butts into, so I can't confirm or deny that. That idea. I also don't even remember him saying Doflamingo, that is, saying he was going to send her over to help. I thought this was supposed to be.
I might have implied some things on myself, that he's sending someone over. He's sending two people, one person named Buffalo, another person named Baby 5. My brain understood that assassin woman was Baby 5. I think a guy, a different character in the room, called her Baby 5. I think that's correct.
I don't know what I was watching then, because I don't remember.
I mean, there's a lot of chaos going on. You know, if you missed something like that, I wouldn't blame you.
I all I remember is him telling Virgo that to kill Law and take care of Law. I remember that part. I don't remember him saying he was going to send backup from Dressrosa here.
Fair enough. But yeah, all that happened. But that's Law's on his little side quest of fucking something up for Doflamingo. In his long running plan for revenge, I presume. But
that also still kind of leads into fucking over an emperor as well. Like,
yeah, some weird domino line is happening here.
Doflamingo is not the ultimate goal, allegedly.
I feel like as time goes on, that is becoming less and less true in my mind.
Maybe
He's gonna end up lying to Luffy. He's like, yeah, I know I said we're gonna fight like an emperor or whatever, but I'm really just here to fuck over Doflamingo, and you're here to help. I'm sorry,
Doflamingo owes me like $30,000 or something, so I'm ready. I need Caesar because Caesar has his gas, and Doflamingo loves his gas. So you know Doflamingo gas.
Who knows? But we'll find out eventually, allegedly. So that's a little law side quest. Other mysterious side quests. Luffy asks Robin to do something for him, and we don't know what that was. Do you have any ideas of what it was, potentially?
I have no idea about. This baffles me. I have no idea. The closest I came was like maybe he wants. Well, that doesn't even work because they already have a part. I was gonna say that he wants her to go find like the kids or something, but they already have the search party in place for the kids. So plus she comes back like immediately. Whatever it was, she finishes it in like 10 minutes and is back to take a ride on Brownbeard's back while all the Straw Hats make their cozy home on him.
What a fucking scene, by the way.
They just settle right one by one. They just start settling in onto Brownbeard.
And he's not having it either. He's like, listen, I'm fucking tired. If you guys can walk, fucking walk, please.
And they all take turns admitting like, yeah, I could do this thing, but I just really don't want to. So cop to it, Brownbeard.
Really tired.
Yeah, I am so tired right now. Do you know how much I just ran? I am done. So keep at it, big boy. And then and then the coats thing. Zoro's like, oh, it's too hot in here to keep the coats on, and Usopp's like, yeah, here, give me the coat. He's playing like doorman or something something to that effect. He's like, yeah, right here.
So we have coat check over here in this corner.
Yeah, Brownbeard's like, don't fucking make your house on my back. Stop it. Go, fuck off.
It's a great scene. I love that.
It's great.
Love that.
Mostly because we're bothering Brownbeard. We're inconveniencing Brownbeard, which is what I appreciate most.
We got that email a couple weeks back asking you if we think Brownbeard would make us cry. I think he wrote that backwards. It's, do you think we're gonna make Brownbeard cry? It seems like it.
At this rate, yeah. It seems that way, which I'd be all for. I think that's essential to the plot.
Yeah. That's the plot we needed.
Yeah, this is the stuff that deserved to not be cut by One Piece. Screw all whatever you were talking about earlier.
All right.
This is that premium content.
You're a fucking animal. Yeah, more walking off. So as they make their way into the lab, Caesar gets a hold of, everyone's plan of what they're going to do. So he's like, hey, well, I need to kill these people. Also, I haven't gotten a chance to show off, my gas or what it can really do to people for, the black market. So basically his plan is just to fucking, flood the entire building if necessary to achieve his goals. He starts off with building A, which is like the main entrance. Everyone's running to building B. Eventually they get to like a little corridor area in between the two buildings. The door starts closing naturally and most people make it through. And this part gets cut off a little bit. But Tashigi is in the back, making sure all the men of hers in front of her are going to make it through. A couple of goons recognize that that's just not a reality. So they make the decision to take Tashigi and just like yeet her ass through the door, and they just essentially sacrifice themselves. Like I said, a part of that gets cut.
And then they make sure to pose for everyone.
Yeah, they're like, hey, make sure to get my good side when I'm frozen time.
They give him the thumbs up. The one guy looking through the door starts crying. He's looking at all his friends with the thumbs up and smiles on their faces.
And he commends them for their service. That I really like that scene. It's probably really cheesy. Probably won't even hit that hard for most people. But I thought that scene was really cool and worth keeping. And One Piece did not agree with me, and I'm upset about it. So yeah, that happens. Tashigi is like torn up about it because she's like, no, I like it's my responsibility to make sure all my men, get out of here. And unfortunately, she just can't make that a reality because of that. We eventually make our way to the next building, or we're on our way to the next building, and Vergo shows up, and all the Marines are just happy to see their boss. They're like, oh, it's good guy Vergo. He's kind of like our tough big brother kind of guy. He's now we're going to show those pirates and whatnot. We got the boss here. And Tashiki's just having a flashback to, previous encounters with Virgo about, first meeting him when she first got transferred to G5 with Smoker and stuff like that. He seems so welcoming and nice and charming at the beginning. And then she's realizing, like, that's not the guy I thought he was. He told me that, like, the kidnapping reports were falsified or, they were clear. There was no big deal. And it turns out he's just a big fat fucking liar, and that's, tearing up at her, and she's trying to convince her men to, like, no, that's not the real Virgo, like, go and save yourselves. And then Virgo just starts pumping people with finger pistols, and he's just icing dudes one at a time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Tashiki, of course, is no match. Mm-hmm. She's already
it was kind of brutal the way she got fucking pimp slapped with a fucking armament hockey backhand.
Yeah.
Especially the way he just, like, grabs her by the scalp, but just kind of suspends her up in the air like a fucking child, and just fucking backhands her. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, it was rough. But then the day is saved by none other than Sanji, who can hear a woman crying from 10 miles away.
My man's got great observation hockey that is very, very conditional.
But only for women.
Only for women. And I think the interesting part about this fight, or a small skirmish really, is that I don't know what's going on with Virgo. I don't know if he's just swinging harder than Sanji, but, like, Sanji tries to, match him blow for blow, and you get a quick image of, like, Sanji's, like, leg fracturing. He's like, holy shit, what is this guy made out of? That shit hurt.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, eventually, he meets his match a little bit here.
And eventually just kind of dissipate. Virgo realizes what Law's up to. He's like, I ain't got time to mess with you small fry. I got bigger things to take care of. And, they eventually make it out of the corridor safe away from the gas temporarily.
Yeah, and somehow he just sneaks by everybody without being seen at all.
He's crawling in the air vent somewhere, I'm convinced.
And Sanji too, for that matter. Like, the door closes and they're like, the random goons are sitting there like, where'd they go, guys? They're still stuck in there. And then Sanji comes flying into, like, two unconscious Marines or something like that, and Virgo's just gone. Whatever. He's just flying through the air. They very much like, I know he's doing the I kick the air really hard thing, and they show it a couple times, but through that whole conversation he has with Doflamingo, anytime we flash to Virgo, he's just Superman.
Flying.
He's just flying. I don't think you ever see him
He occasionally does some
kick.
Weird, like, fucking leapfrog kick or whatever, like frog kick, stroke, or whatever you want to call it. But he's definitely just flying.
Yeah, he is more or less flying. We're also introduced a couple of times into what his second bit, besides the sticking things to his face. That being, I don't know if it's just his dry sense of humor, but he'll go like, he does it with the sword. Like, when he walks out of Caesar's office, he goes, he like reaches for his waist and grabs nothing, and he goes, "Where's my sword?" And Monet's like, "You're not a swordsman." He goes, "That's right, I'm not a swordsman." and then again with the camera thing, when he's on the phone with Doflamingo, he's like, "I'll take a picture of the dead body with that camera that I bought on Dressrosa." And Doflamingo's like, Did you do that? Did you buy a camera here?" And he's like, "No, I didn't." And he's I can't tell. It seems like,
I think he's having an identity crisis or something.
It seems
something's going on.
This is his idea of a joke, but I'm also not sure if he's just like, this is just a forgetful thing, which is like a thing we've kind of done before in the past, I feel like, with characters.
I'm definitely thinking this isn't like a ha funny on Virgo's end. This is definitely I thought I bought that thing. Guess I didn't. Head empty.
I don't know. I kind of like it though. It's kind of funny.
Really?
I don't know. It's a little funny. Maybe come back to me next couple of episodes when he does it 8 more times, and I go, all right, this is kind of overstayed its welcome. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Because then right after that too, he goes, "Oh yeah, I don't have that camera. I'll cut off his ear instead. Give it to you."
Lovely.
Delicious.
Don't like that one.
I want to rewind us to one of Luffy's new special moves. I can't let this go. Fucking Gomu Gomu UFO.
Beautiful. My man's a Beyblade. He's the human tornado.
This is. I mean, this has to be a thing we'll never see again. But Oda threw it in here just because Zoro has that whole speech about Luffy being more serious. And Luffy goes, yeah, I can be more serious. And then he busts out the rubber UFO. And Zoro's like, you fucking piece of shit. I just told you to be more serious about what's happening right now. This is a new fucking world. There are
I was
no
actually
UFOs
in the moment with that
fucking
scene,
world.
actually. I was really feeling Zoro's like sense of panic of like, what? Our captain got like bested already by some fucking schmuck? And Usopp was like, yeah, man, like that guy can literally just stop us from breathing. And Zoro just has a flashback to like, you know, his time on, I don't remember the name of the island, but his time with, you know, Mihawk and just training over the past few years and you know, other stuff like that, where he's like, listen, I told myself that I can never lose again if I want to become the strongest swordsman in the world. And I ain't going to be following no fucking captain who also loses too, all right? So like, you know, both of us got to step up our game. We can't let our guard down again. We know we got lucky this time, but if that ever happens again, we're like dead. And that does make me want to talk about Caesar a little bit, because like Caesar's an interesting character in terms of how he's utilized for me, because like he's, you know, evil genius kind of guy, and like he's in a weird in-between state where he's not a pushover by any means. Like this guy is objectively strong in my mind, but he's not presented as like, you know, the typical strong villain type where he's overpowering and menacing to Luffy, or at least not so like overtly. It's really weird. He's on a really weird nuance line where, you know, I'm still kind of a goofy character where you can't take me seriously, but I'm still much of a threatening person where like you need to take me seriously a little bit. It's very interesting. I actually like what they do with this character, especially because he's kind of like he's kind of breaking the mold of like mad scientist, evil genius, nerdy kind of guy. You know what I mean?
I can't. I don't feel like I can agree on the last point. I think he is the stereotypical mad scientist, evil genius guy who is doing whatever he wants for the sake of his experiments and will kill or maim anybody for the sake of science here. And just doesn't really value any life other than his own, pretty much. Just so
I guess
that he
for
can
me is
do the
that those
science.
characters that I see most often than not are not really combative. Like they have other people doing their dirty work. He has, maybe it's not like his first option, right? But like he can get down and dirty and in the mud and like pose a threat. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I guess I agree with like he's slightly more combative than your average one, but I feel like in every other regard, he pretty much, he only fights when he has to.
Mm-hmm.
He pretty much avoids actually fighting things if he can.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the opportunity is available, he dips out of there. Notwithstanding when Monet cuts in to his and Luffy's fight in the first place, or I guess in the last place, because then I don't know if she senses that Luffy is starting to win the fight or something, but Caesar is sort of visibly shaken by the end of that, by that point too, when Monet makes that shield of snow, and he looks back and realizes he hasn't gotten hit. He's like, he's sweating. He looks like he's almost ready to throw in the towel, because this stupid rubbery boy is basically just moving fast enough that the need for oxygen doesn't apply, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's moving so fast in and out of this oxygenless area that he's not really affected. He takes big breaths when he's outside the area, and then he dives back in.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like Caesar is potentially being bested in this scenario, and Monet cuts in because she realizes that. And even then, Caesar like breathes a big sigh of relief and is like, yeah, you know, this fight is beneath me. I would have won this fight if I was going all out. I'm gonna leave now and go do other things. So I don't know. But everything else, I guess I can kind of agree with him being kind of different. It's, I don't know. Well, we'll see how the arc progresses though before it sort of makes a a final judgment on the man.
Anything else we're missing?
Just I guess just briefly to talk about the small dragon that we beat the shit out of.
Yes. That poor dragon, bro.
I mean, it's
that dude got fucked up.
It's poor dragon in the first place. He was going a little crazy. He was kind of deserving of it.
Listen,
the way
my
he was
man
acting,
got roofied, and then he wore it off, and he's like, who the fuck
he's
did
like,
that?
I'm going crazy now. I haven't been able to breathe fire in days.
I can finally fucking fly. I can stretch my legs and wings.
I can stretch my wings now. But then they don't kill it. They knock it down. It's KO'd, and Kinemon is just curb stomping it now that it's on the ground and beaten already. And you're left wondering, well, what does this guy have against this small dragon? At this moment, in my head, clearly this has to do with Momonosuke. I think I was thinking more along the line. Somewhere in my head, I was like, maybe this dragon was a person at some point, because we've already seen this whole this whole body swapping thing that's gone on, animal parts swapping thing. Pretty much all the pirates. Monet is a harpy now. So we're just kind of running through all these mythical creatures between centaurs and harpies. And, there are also dragon. Dragon's the first thing we see in the first place. But at that point, you're not keen to make that sort of connection. So now we have, but we're reminded of dragon. And in the moment, I was thinking, this probably has some. But I think what I was originally surmising was that this dragon maybe had been the one that kidnapped Momonosuke from wherever. Then we get the last minute of the episode or two, whatever it was, of some random little girl who's in an exam room, and she passes her exam, with flying colors, whatever. She's quote unquote healthy, or whatever tests they went through. And she turns around before leaving, and it's like, whatever happened to that kid who went into the forbidden room and turned to a dragon? What was his name again? Momonosuke. And then the episode just cuts. Like that's it. So I don't know.
Now the question is Kinemon currently curb stopping his son on the floor?
That's the question. That's the question I'm now asking myself. I would hope that if he knows that that's Momonosuke, he's not willingly curb stomping his son, unless I mean, this is a guy who comes from a land that is based off of feudal Japan. So maybe, just maybe, this is a case of he knows this is his son, and he's like punishing him for being weak. Or something to that effect. I would hope not, but Kinemon has not shied away from very tasteless comments and actions before. So because of the culture that is being delivered to us, that is Wano. So I'm hoping it's not Momonosuke, but we'll see, I guess.
Fair enough. I think that's have we covered everything? Anything we're missing?
I don't think so. I think we got it. I think we got there.
I guess now, before we move on, so we this girl confirms for us that Momonosuke just enters the room and becomes a dragon. I got two questions. One, how? Obviously. Two, are any of the dragons on that island just actual dragons? Because we also got a little bit of an info drop where someone mentioned that all the dragons are Vegapunk creations. And we obviously don't get an explanation of how he does it exactly, but I'm thinking to myself now, it's as time goes on, Vegapunk kind of seems like a mad scientist of himself, where he doesn't necessarily seem to he doesn't necessarily shy away from crossing certain ethical boundaries potentially, or at least in my opinion. So maybe it's not too far out of imagination for Vegapunk just been hey, yeah, I turned some dudes into a dragon. We got dragons on Punk Hazard now.
It doesn't seem like it would necessarily be something out of the realm of possibility, because we've already, it seems like it's not as much of an ethics problem when you feed a gun devil fruit or something. The gun didn't have feelings beforehand that we know of. So it changes a little bit, obviously, when it's a person you're experimenting on, and it seems like Vegapunk maybe could be that kind of person, but it also seems believable that Vegapunk isn't that sort of person, because Caesar is sort of set up at this point as like the antithesis of Vegapunk, where Caesar was willing to go way farther with experiments to try and get results than Vegapunk seemingly was, or Vegapunk had different goals in mind for what they were trying to accomplish. So I don't know. They also mentioned that this green dragon that they beat the shit out of was a newer model. So that could mean that maybe the red dragon is some sort of like weird creation that Vegapunk made, but this new green dragon is something that Caesar took Vegapunk's formula for and found a way to manipulate it and use it somehow to turn people into dragons. Now, without the use of a devil fruit, I have no idea how that's possible. Presumably, or maybe it is a devil fruit, but it sort of, I don't know, he's developed some kind of drug that keeps you in a frenzied state, or keeps you in your animal form, or in this case, the dragon form. I don't know.
Interesting. Time will tell. Maybe. Hopefully. We don't know.
Presumably.
But that's everything out of the way. Next week's episodes are 609 to 614. Ooh, that is a lot of episodes right there. That's a lot of...
That's about what we did this week.
Yeah, but, One Piece. Anyway, moving on to quotes. I finally have quotes this week. I finally, took some time out of my day to really buckle down and try to get those written down.
Okay. I'm proud of you.
As soon as I get to my notes. Where are my notes? Notes, please. All right. Where do I want to start with? Right. So this one's from Luffy. He's running through the lab, running into, Caesar goons, obviously. He runs into this one strange looking centaur dude who I cannot identify species wise initially until he announces himself as a spider centaur. And Luffy yells at him, "You don't have any animal legs. That's lame. What kind of centaur are you anyway?" And he just kicks him off the fucking platform, and he just yells "spider" on the way down. These next two quotes are from that scene we mentioned earlier, where everyone's just kind of making themselves comfortable on Brownbeard's back. Who's this first one by? I think this is a mixture of people. So it's between Kinemon, Zoro, and Brook. And it goes, "I'm so sick of running." And Zoro says, "What was that, a complaint?" Kinemon replies, "No, it wasn't." And Brook comes off on the side, says, "I'm not a samurai, so I'll just say it. I've had enough of this." I felt that. Something of that line just spoke from my soul.
One of my quotes, you fuck. I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
Another one from that scene, starting off with Brook. "Brownbeard-san, do you have anything to eat?" And Brownbeard replies, "Shut up. The minute we reach one of the soldiers' posts, I'm going to shake all of you off my back." There's a lot more quotes from that scene, but I didn't want to take them all. There would have been a lot of lines there. And this one's from the little fight scene between Caesar and Luffy. "What do you hope to gain by attacking me?" Luffy replies, "I don't know yet, but if I capture you, then I know something cool is going to happen." That's all my quotes.
He's right, probably. Well, I had two quotes. Now I have one. This is after they beat the shit out of the green dragon, and they're taunting it on the ground. And Kinemon and Brook have two very different gripes with this green dragon. Brook is upset that the green dragon didn't want to eat him. And so when they beat him, Brook is shouting at him on the ground, "Please say bones are tasty." And I don't know, it tickled me.
That was good.
Because there was also the part where they were on Brownbeard's back too, and Usopp's like, "Why are you upset that he didn't want to eat you?" And Brook goes like, "Bones have nutrition too."
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I was like, that scene was also funny. Just Brook being butthurt that someone deemed him unworthy of eating.
I mean, he's right. There's a reason we make bone broth for soups and stuff.
Collagen is good for the body.
Get that calcium going. But yeah, that's all I got now.
All right. Moving on to Golden Ham. This one's a little tough, but I'm gonna hop back on my propaganda train and give my boy Law the vote for this week.
Yeah, see, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Law doesn't really do anything more or less than like the rest of the cast of the crew here does.
I don't know.
He just reveals his Batman plot as you described it, and then fucks off to a different part of the factory.
I don't know, bro. Like, he kind of gets the whole thing rolling. He frees everybody from the cage, gets them inside the lab again, gives them an escape route. I don't know. I feel like Law's putting in a decent amount of work here.
I'm like trying to come up with any possible retort to this because I just don't want to give it to Law out of spite for you more than anything. I don't know. Doflamingo showed up in these episodes. He's pretty cool. He's pretty stylish. Am I right?
Listen, as my favorite villain, I cannot give it to Doflamingo. Not yet. Maybe one of these days I probably can and will. Today is not that day.
When we go invade his home, then we'll like Apu style, we bust in through the roof, take out a few goons. We go, hey, Doflamingo, we're here to make friendship. I mean, an alliance. Friend Doflamingo arc.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, before I interrupt you, friend Monet arc? Question mark?
I'm gonna give you the same answer that I came up with last week, is that she's some kind of like deep-seated quintuple agent. I don't know.
Her allegiance is unknown.
I don't know.
We don't know where anything lies.
I don't know what Monet is doing, man. She is clearly the person who let Choppy Boy escape, or gave him the note that said don't do anything, they'll be fine. So I honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if Monet knew about the chain swap too. Like, she just randomly discovered it one day, or watched Law do it and still let it happen anyway. That would make even more sense as to why she knows they would get out of the cage. So Monet clearly, because there's also, they have that very not subtle scene of Chopper. I keep like momentarily blanking on his name. Chopper bolts out of the room and he's talking to himself and he goes, whatever. And I still really don't know who threw that note at me. And it in that time, it's a voiceover of Chopper thinking to himself that, but Monet is on your screen.
And then she gets like a little side eye as if she's noticed him leave the room.
Yeah, like, so she recognizes that he's gone now. Excuse me. But then she interrupts this fight. This is probably just to keep up appearances, but they're probably still going to fight anyway, I think. Because, if Caesar gets his ass kicked there and Monet doesn't interfere and Caesar recognizes that, he's smart enough to be like, well, she could have helped me, but then she didn't. So like, what the fuck's up with that? But so she cuts in. She's fighting Luffy now, allegedly, even though, Luffy just kind of like lets her stand there and take that snail chat call with Doflamingo for 5 minutes. I want to know what that ends up being like. I hope we see that next week, where they're just standing there and Luffy goes, oh yeah, who was that? Or Monet goes, oh, hold on a second, I need to take this, and then just hops on the Discord call with Doflamingo and Virgo, and because we have that a brief moment of flash to it of where she's standing there and Luffy's just off on the other side of the room waiting.
He's being very respectful of their phone call.
He is being very respectful. It's true. So I can't wait to see how that happens, but I fucking know what one is up to, man. She has to be more afraid of Doflamingo than anybody. So whatever she's doing is probably in the best interest of Doflamingo. It doesn't explain why she lets Chopper go, though.
We just don't know how deep or where.
It doesn't explain why she lets Chopper go. There's no reason for it if that was the case.
There's
so what
so
the
many
fuck
layers.
is she doing? Who is she?
Is Monet even Monet?
I don't know. What even is a Monet? He's a painter, right? Why is the gender bending in One Piece now?
Listen, we're just getting influences from.
Was Monet a woman in our timeline too? I don't know.
It's like that one the Fate Stay series where everyone just gender swaps real quick.
I hate it, but I love it.
Anyway,
also.
back to Golden Ham.
Oh right, fuck it, give it a law. I'm done with this.
Woo!
Just give it a law.
Baby, let's go!
I don't know who else to give it to. Nobody else does anything like extraordinarily noteworthy here. I don't feel like just take it.
Hell yeah! All right, Law wins this week. Can't wait to come back next week and give him the 2-piece.
I mean, he's already. This is already his second time.
3-time world champion. Let's go, baby!
The 3P. Surely not.
I'll die trying.
Oh, I know.
I got a lot of time with this guy. I got all the weeks in the world. Anyway, no fan mail this week. We do have some emails, but we are saving them because they're really good questions. But we do want more of us to be here and then save certain emails for certain occasions. But yeah, Patreon shout out to you, Twigo. Your real steel thingy bobbity doo just got.
It's still cooking.
It is cooking.
By the time this is out, it'll be out. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed. I think this is what I said. This is what I said last week too, right? I hope you enjoyed your Real Steel episode. We'll be sure to get right on your Men in Black because you just told us that you want that next.
I look forward to that. Actually, it's been a long time.
It has been a long time since I've watched that one.
Good movie, at least from what I remember. But now moving on to Grab Bag, and
baby.
I have the bag because I took it from Brendan last week because he just constantly puts god awful things in that bag, man.
Don't worry. Surely you wouldn't render the same fate onto me, right?
Not this week. If you were there in that room last week, maybe. But here's a bag. It should just be a bunch of envelopes. Have at it.
Yeah. I reach into the bag, ruffle around a little bit here. They do feel like some envelopes. I've got one here. It looks like a card and an envelope. Is this an award show? Like is this you putting out that Crunchyroll award ceremony energy where you want me to
we gotta manifest real slowly? As much as we can.
That is fair.
The people of the world, send me your energy. Send me to the Crunchyroll Awards, please.
The award for Grab Bag of the Week is Miss Valentine Award. Oddly on brand. So who did we hate this week?
I could tell you who I hated this week.
Tell me who you hated this week.
The One Piece editors.
All right. Well, I'm not doing that. So
kind of hoping you would join me on this crusade.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as outraged as you were about this. I think that the Shigi thing was just enough of what I needed, and maybe the Chopper thing could have used a few more scenes, but I'm not nearly as hung up on it as you are, so I refuse.
Surely you're outraged enough to join me on my crusade.
What was I outraged about before? I know I was outraged about. Maybe I'm outraged at Frankie.
Oh right, that you're just
maybe
mad
I'm
he's
pissed off.
fucking
Maybe
off
I'm
all
pissed
screen.
off at Frankie for just fucking leaving.
Yeah,
I want more Frankie in my life, and he just leaves.
You know what? I can get behind the more Frankie sentiment. Not sure if I want to give him his Valentine Award.
Can I give it to Brownbeard? I do hate me some Brownbeard.
Damn, we're gonna give it to Brownbeard. I kind of feel bad for the guy.
Don't. Fuck Brownbeard.
What do you mean, don't?
Fuck Brownbeard.
What did Brownbeard do to you,
man? I don't
man?
give a fuck about Brownbeard. Worthless character.
You were talking about my crusade. You're clearly on a crusade against Brownbeard.
You're right,
I don't know what this guy did to you.
You're right. I am. Worthless character.
What do you mean worthless? He's literally, carrying our crew on his back. He's put them in a backpack, bro. He is literally carrying the crew.
Only because they're too fucking lazy. If he wasn't there, they'd be doing it themselves just fine.
If he wasn't there, they'd be dead.
No, it's not true.
I don't know, man. They were getting real tired according to themselves.
They're getting real tired. They would have gotten over it. There was no Brownbeard to carry their asses through gold. They would have been fine.
I don't know. I'm not sure they're promoting to the next room, without Brownbeard carrying them. All right, sure. What's another character we could hate on? Virgo? Can we agree on Virgo? Like that's objectively a scummy guy.
He's an objectively scummy guy because you're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to hate what he's done. That he deep-seated himself into the Navy for 15 years or something. Now he's showing his true colors.
Not even just the Navy, but like the hearts of his people, man. Like they trusted him, they loved him, and they were so like in a trusting relationship with that guy that they can't even rationalize the idea that like the real Virgo is in front of them and betraying them. It has to be some imposter. Doesn't that break your heart a little bit? And the fact that like Toshigi recognizes that and she has to like feign ignorance and be like, yeah, it's clearly an imposter. The real Virgo would never.
Oh, that was heartbreaking. It is true. That did wrench me a little bit. But that's all by design. You're supposed to be. That's what the narrative has put forth.
Just because it's by design doesn't mean it's not effective, and that shouldn't necessarily be quote unquote rewarded here.
All right, I can accept this. We can give it to Virgo.
All right,
you convinced me.
Virgo
is a piece of shit.
We did it. Here's to you, Lint Roller Man. Miss Valentine Award.
Here's to you, but also screw you.
Facts. Fuck you. And with that is the end of our show tonight. Thank you for joining us. If you wish to follow us on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Panda Sightings. If you wish to send us emails and would like to read them on cast or just answer them privately, you can do so at pandasightings@gmail.com. We have a lovely community Discord. There's lots of stuff going on in there in Movie Mite. I had a stroke there. Movie Mites, whatever. Lots of cool stuff, lots of cool people. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very, very much. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go sharpen my pitchfork.
Your pitchfork?
Yes. For when I get outraged about something that deserves to be getting outraged about.
Okay. Planning ahead. Smart.
Yeah. Like law.
I should go, I guess, prepare my notes for next week to convince you guys to vote for law again. I'm just gonna get working on that.
Yeah, you got an uphill battle ahead of you for that one.
Lightning doesn't strike twice very often,
Gotta really especially if Devin shows up to that one because he will not. He will not. Anyway, bye.
Bye.